Hello, everyone. I'm the Vacuuminator.
I'm Buster.
And this week in Toku, Faiz is back, Pump Jack's back, fucking Shinobi's back, everybody's back! Except for Ben and John, I guess, because fuck me. But before all that, Buster, how you doing?
It has been a week, but not like an eventful week. Just, I guess a week has passed since last time.
Oh, it's the week of all time?
Yeah, it is. I don't want to say that anymore. You told me not to say that anymore.
Yeah, I did. Only I'm allowed to say it now. I'm the only cool Zoomer.
You're a millennial. Talk about millennial things.
People keep telling me I'm a Zoomer. I'm apparently not allowed to identify as a millennial anymore.
What? That's wrong. You're the most millennial I've ever met.
Oh my god, I'm the millennial of millennials.
Just talk about your freaking week.
I'm here with the Millennium Message, and the Millennium Message is my life sucks because I got in a car accident 2 days after the last episode, and my car got totaled. It's not all bad though, because oh well, wait, this is bad. My grandpa died a couple weeks ago, but this is good because the executors of the estate, my aunt and uncle, just said, "Hey, you can just have his car. You can just have a free car." A car that's like in perfectly good working order and has had a lot of work done on it recently, so it's actually really nice at the moment. You just have to come down to Florida to get it, which means basically all the days I would normally have to work on side projects and stuff or get my videos done, depending on how busy I am during the week, I now have to take off work to go down to Florida for my grandfather's funeral and then to get the title transferred over to me. And I've actually been spending all of today running around doing errands to prepare for that trip because it's not just going to be me. It's going to be me, my mom, my sister, and my nephew all crammed into my mom's car for a day and a half, basically.
Get them shows ready to watch.
Yeah, I have stuff lined up. Hey, how about that? I'll be driving home on my own though, because I'll have the new car, so that'll be nice. And hey, I might go. Since I'll be in the horribly nightmarish state of Florida, I might get my ass down to his part of the swamplands, and poke our friend of the show, Boingo Rider, in the face with my my finger.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm. There will be pics on Twitter. Don't worry.
Can't wait to see Boingo's like tired face, being like, here we go again."
Also, and I'm only talking about this at all because it's relevant to the show and it's relatively fresh, and I've talked about getting some of this stuff on the show. I sold a bunch of Tokusatsu toys to finance the trip today at my vintage toy store.
You didn't even tell me?
I didn't want to have to deal with shipping. I just needed the money now. It was one of those I need money now kind of situations.
That's fair.
So all my mecha are gone.
Even Don Tajin?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, honestly, Don Taijin was my first choice because I've soured on him quite a bit.
Yeah. Even the Lightspeed Rescue one.
Yep. And I mean, I originally bought it from that vintage store, so it's essentially the catch and release.
Okay.
And a lot of my DX toys, all my 01 toys, my gear tlinger and buckle, my Shoto phone, and a couple other things that aren't coming to me at the moment. I just said, just get rid of everything. Just get a bunch of stuff that I think will get me between $200 and $500 from them, and all stuff that like I don't see myself having a deep need for in the near future, because like all my figures, all my super articulated 6-inch stuff, that's stuff I regularly mess with and will miss if it's gone. That kind of like big impressive display stuff, like I buy that stuff because I'm interested in messing with it and seeing how it works firsthand. But after the first couple weeks, it's just there as a display piece. And I don't even really need a display anymore because I'm filming my videos outside. The only reason to have a display is when I'm on modular live shows, aka no prize. So like I did keep a few things. I did keep a few like things from the display, because I don't think anyone would buy it but me. I didn't sell my autographed Phantom Ranger. I I have my SPD Morpher and Delta blasters. I kept my Z riser or my Z riser, excuse me.
Yeah, I was worried you sold that.
No, I kind of decided, like, like while I was picking stuff to sell, I was like, since I'm kind of going scorched earth, I think I need to kind of just decide that, like, hey, while I do enjoy them, roleplay toys and mecha aren't really something I should be putting a lot of money into in the future because they don't have a lot of long-term joy for me. Just get the stuff from my absolute favorite shows. So, like,
Yeah.
I'll probably go back and complete SPD and Zet's roleplay stuff at some point, and I'll probably go back and rebuy all the Gokaiger stuff at some point, because I used to have a pretty extensive Gokaiger collection, and then I sold it because of another vehicle-related emergency a couple of years ago.
Right, like the cool thing about having like a toy collection that's like somewhat valuable, is that like you can just, if you need you just have like a financial backing there, and you have like a vintage toy store that, like, I assume sells good prices for those things. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was expecting between $200 and $500, and I got between $200 and $500. I'm not going to say the exact amount I got because I don't want people messaging me going like, "Oh, you got ripped off. You need to go back there and." Blah, blah, blah. No, I have a good rapport with these guys. I trust them, and I know what they think is fair and what I think is fair, and I'm happy with the outcome. And I now have money for my trip. And hey, I'm probably going to get an insurance settlement for my totaled car at some point in the next couple months. So if I really want to, and it's still there, I can just go back and rebuy all that stuff from that.
Yeah.
So
Man, this is the longest pre-show tangent we've had.
yeah, but like it's an important life update that kind of relates to Tokusatsu. So
yeah.
there you go. And if you want to stay up to date on all the life updates that happen to everyone at Modular Media, not just my stupid ass, fucking like, comment, subscribe, everybody. We're on YouTube. This is a YouTube podcast, so you got to support us in the algorithm so that we can succeed. So like the show, leave a comment, let us know what you think about some shit that happened this week in Tokusatsu. Subscribe, ring that bell so you get all the episodes as they're delivered to the YouTube tubes. Follow us on Twitter at The Modular Media for updates. We're also on Reddit, r/Modular Media, and we have a Tumblr, which is at Modular Media. But that is all the plugging and tugging I got to do today. Now we can get into the news. Oh my god, our top story tonight: Godzilla energy-free energy drink is happening. There's been apparently 2 previous Godzilla energy drinks by a company called Cheerio. I'm assuming no relation to the cereal. I'm assuming.
This guy.
But yeah, if you want a Mountain Dew ass looking energy drink with Godzilla and King Ghidorah on the can, that's available now. Although I think you're gonna have to import it from Japan by the looks of this.
It looks like clear piss. I mean, am I wrong?
A little bit. It's got that pissy Mountain Dew yellow to it. But yeah, that is certainly a thing. And you know what else is a thing that's happening?
Ultraman Regulos?
Yeah, Ultraman Regulos. He's getting a show. There's a couple posters for it. And Ultraman Global, Super Eye Global, they slapped those posters on some shirts. If you're in desperate need of Ultraman merch, here you go. Buy some shirts of a show that's not even out yet, so you don't know if you like it or not.
I just hate that. I wish there was like more clear PNG. I just hate that's like a just basically a JPEG on the shirt. Yeah. That's annoying. That's really annoying.
It's, on the one hand, it's cool that they're doing this, so like you don't have to resort to Redbubble for this sort of thing, and those people really can't get away with that anymore. But on the other hand, it's like, you're the official company. Put some effort in.
Yeah, I mean, like, the only, like, PNG logos I can find are, like, the freaking, like, logos of the show. Like, I'm looking at their website right now, it's just Ultraman Z or some shit. It's kind of lazy. I mean, some posters work better as shirts than others, but other times just like, it feels lazy.
I mean, I'm real lazy about buying shirts these days, but, like, if there was a shirt that was just, like, Zet's Zet logo, and not, like, the show's logo, but, like, the Zet symbol from his chest on a shirt, I think that'd be pretty cool to own.
Yeah, that would be neat. I just like, I as a guy, I like buying shirts of things I like, so I'm very particular about it. You know?
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on to some casting news, we have our new weekly Ultraman Blazer casting announcement. Hayate Kajihara is going to be portraying Yashinobu Bando. He is a skilled mechanic who helped develop Earth Garon. He keeps mechs well maintained and names his favorites. The nickname for Earth Garon is Earthy, and he looks like a little Japanese boy.
Actually, no, he's buff. He's ripped.
Is he?
Show you, yeah, well, I'm gonna show you right now. He is like ripped as hell. Everyone was like, when this guy got announced, it was like, whoa, the muscles. And I'm like, I know it was like some wrong one. Is it no? Wait, oh, I just didn't show in the preview, but yeah, here's the click the link I show you. You'll see some pictures.
Oh,
of him.
he's a big old flippy boy.
Yeah, well, he's not even just flippy boy. He got buff. Like the suit doesn't show it, but this guy, he could probably defeat the monsters on his own because of how buff he is. Like, he don't need Earth Garyon, but I love Earth Garyon's design anyways, so yeah.
Hopefully he has like an arc of becoming a cool badass guy instead of just a nerd.
I mean, you can. I think the message of him is that you can be both a nerd and a badass guy. So, yeah.
My favorite.
What the? Oh yeah, you.
Oh, let's move into not my favorite.
All right, can I talk about this? Because you basically have no attachment.
Fucking oh boy, go.
All right, so I woke up one day and I'm just like, I checked Discord and Twitter, and I'm like, wait, what? I thought this was a Photoshop when I first saw this.
Open your eyes for the 20th Faiz.
Yeah, because we're getting a Kamen Rider Faiz V Cinema that celebrates the 20th anniversary. It's gonna have Inui's returning to write the script. Ryuta Tasaki is gonna direct it.
The main three actors are coming back.
Yeah, I really hope they get Kento's actor back. Because he's kind of a core part of, like, if you're gonna do a new fully Faiz story, not just have him be a side character, you kind of need Kento there, or like I just mentioned him. But yeah, they said several, and apparently, so they're probably keeping some returning cast members hidden. But yeah, Faiz is really popular, and the cool thing about this V Cinema to me, his base form is gonna get an upgrade. It's a completely new suit.
Yeah,
with, like, new toys. I think that's like the best way to do like a 20 years after thing.
It looks like he's wearing a bottle cap on his chest.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like a Faiz thing. It's like I think that used to be on his back, and now it's the chest. I
gotta admit, I don't love this suit. I think it looks a little over designed, but the belt is interesting.
Oh yeah, because it's like a smartphone belt. Because we upgraded from flip phones to smartphones, as they do.
There's also a video demo of it out there, and it's doing like the X8 mirror projection thing.
Yeah, and wasn't this like this was demoed back in like a old showcase, like Toei Bandai showcase of like future Kamen Rider belt or some shit. Like this was like years ago, and it's like that technology meant something.
Yeah. Now, obviously, some people are really worried about this because of how O's 10th turned out, but you like O's 10th, isn't that right?
Yeah, I like it. So I don't really care about... That's not really a worry to me. And I know, like, Inui's, like, the novel Faiz stuff, that was weird, I'll admit. But, like, yeah, this is, like, the full... Is
he gonna count the novels as canon for this?
I don't know. I've heard rumors about, like, this being a sequel to the alternate universe movie, rather than, like, this show itself based on the title. Because it's called Paradise Regained, and the movie was called Paradise Lost. I don't know what's happening here. I'm just excited to see a full story of, like, these characters again. So...
And I mean, like, I'll check this out, because I've seen a fair bit of Faiz. I didn't like it, but I've seen it, and I enjoyed his subplot in Heisei vs. Showa. That's my favorite Faiz thing, which I love saying, because apparently people who really love Faiz hate Heisei vs. Showa.
From the little I've seen of Heisei vs. Showa, I think he did pretty okay. He was one of the better parts of the movie, from my understanding. But also, you gotta watch Kamen Rider Yangu. Like, have you watched Yangu? Because it's like...
I have. I thought it was all right.
Yeah, because that's like probably the best official Faiz post content. There's a fan comic out there that's way better, but like there's a official like post Faiz content we've had. So hopefully that will replace that as the best one. We'll see. I am very interested. It just kind of came out of nowhere. Just like, okay, we're doing this.
Yeah, they were just like, it's time to be nostalgic about Faiz, everybody, because they also announced a shit ton of CSM stuff. We're getting a new
wallets.
Faiz Edge, Faiz Blaster, Pasiga Driver, Orga Driver, and Smart Buckle, all coming soon to the CSM line. Please be excited.
It's not Faiz Blaster, it's Faiz Braster.
I'll Faiz Brast your ass.
Don't threaten me with that, please.
All right, let's move into stuff in a little more modern. Let's move into some Reiwa era news. Have you ever wanted to smell like George Karzaki?
No, I like him, but he would smell horrible.
Actually, well, now you can, because there's an officially licensed Kamen Rider Juuga perfume coming out soon.
Actually, I just realized he did shower, so maybe he's one of those nerds who does shower. So
maybe he's actually like the most weirdly nice smelling dude ever.
Yeah,
like he enters the room and people are like, "What is that? Who brought flowers?" And they're just like, "It's George's perfume. He puts on way too much."
I guess.
Anyway,
Revice.
Yeah, we got yet another. The ViStamp line just will not die because we're getting ViStamp set selection Gracias, which is the Kamen Rider Juuga ViStamp, the Agula Monster Queen Bee ViStamp, and the Get Over Demons ViStamp. All of these sold together in a big, expensive premium Bandai box.
Actually, to correct the fact, it's Ortica, not Juuga.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry. I'm tired.
It's fine.
But, I mean, it's cool that these are happening, but just, like, who is still buying ViStamps at this point?
I know, they're really preying on the completionist adult market for these shows.
All right, let's move on to some Geats news. First and foremost, there was a real-life Geats fancy dress event. They had the Golden Desire Night in Japan recently, which was essentially like a variety show under the pretense of it being like a fancy ball starring all the Geats characters. And it was a live-streamed event that you could also go to in person. I've not been able to find any actual footage of this, but apparently it was a thing that happened.
Here's the thing. This is basically just a final stage shows where it's like they sing and dance and they do a cool story?
Oh, it was just one of those?
Yeah, but it's basically just that, but in the middle of the show. They debuted some new upcoming insert songs that are going to be released. They, like, I know some people talk about those, like, because there's going to be an insert song with Buffa, Babora, and Nudge Sparrow, which is insane.
Oh, they're just doing the fuckers anthem.
Yeah. That's if YouTube wouldn't demonetize us, that would be a perfect title.
The MFers anthem. There, now it's a quote.
Yeah. But like it's just like it's neat that they're doing this stuff like midway through the series, like so we can get like probably a different pool of characters than if we would do it at the end of the show.
Yeah, and I guess like it's a good indicator of how popular Geats is that they're willing to do an extra one of these.
Or maybe Toei's extra content is keep getting on the gas because Toei are gluttonous who love making so much extra content. Like,
yeah, people are fucking going crazy about fucking how bad Disney got in the last couple of years under Bob J. Peck. Bob J. Peck has nothing on John Toei because we are getting Kamen Rider Tycoon cross Kamen Rider Shinobi Toei Tokusatsu Fan Club special coming very soon. This is brilliant, but also holy shit. What?
Okay, I must now make a public apology to all the Shinobi fans. I thought after like in November of 2022, I thought I was like, okay, no more Shinobi. All right, we're done. The chance to do it is over.
No,
but then I realized
they didn't forget.
Yeah. They probably just took a bit to get all the actors ready, and also because they probably wanted to do it like in a place in the show where it's like Tycoon could do some stuff.
Because it's a very much like a crossover movie for these two shows, but as a Toei Tokusatsu Fan Club special because we're getting all the characters from the Shinobi miniseries back, and it's going to be Keiwa, Sarah, and I think Neon is also in a couple shots. Encountering them and getting entangled in all their crazy kooky bullshit. And Keiwa's going to get a one-off power-up that is his normal ninja form, but purple.
Yeah, which actually got leaked a while back.
And yeah, that was a leak we talked about last week, and we thought it was a movie thing.
Yeah, but no, even like the person who leaked it saying, it could be Shinobi. But and it was. But I will say the cool thing about this, Atari's here, and he's becoming another Atari. That's super cool. Gio will not die.
Also, literally the only plot of the week the Shinobi villains have is kidnap someone's sister.
Cringe. That's literally if they better not do any cringe ass jokes about that.
Here's
the entire reason. That's the entire reason I didn't like the Shinobi miniseries and why I made a video. Just like
I gotta admit, I'm not super excited about this. I'll watch it for the show, but like my one like, hey, please do this kind of thing is like, so we know Shinobi's never getting a proper show, but in this, can we please like make vague references to a bunch of random shit as if Shinobi did get a show?
Yeah, I know people are saying that, and also, I want to watch this for Keiwa because Keiwa's a good boy.
Oh yeah, Keiwa's a good old boy. You gotta get your Keiwa in.
Speaking of good boys and girls,
yeah, Kamen Rider Pumpjack is also getting a Toei Tokusatsu fan club special. It's gonna be a prequel. It's gonna be showing how he got roped in with the DGP, and it's coming at the end of the month.
Yeah, which actually I just realized a while back Toei did a casting call for like we need people for a Pumpjack rock band. This is what this is for.
Battle of Crazy Toradas. What? I'm reading this banner.
I don't know, but I'm very excited. I like Pumpjack. I'm not like as big as everyone else is on him, but like I do like him a lot. So I'm like,
I like Pumpjack, but I'm also like, this man got like to co-star for a whole ass arc, and now he's getting a special. And my boys Ben and John can't even get helmets.
To be fair, Pumpjack is related to the lore. Yeah. And speaking of the lore,
yeah. So there was a cast list leaked for next week's episode of Geats, and Niram's not dead. He's coming back, but also Winn's not dead. He's coming back. We're getting both Pumpjack and Gazer back next week in Geats. So please be excited. Showed up? Niram got turned into bubbles a couple episodes, remember?
Oh yeah, like he got freaking like dragged to hell by Buffa, yeah. It'll be nice to see these. I like both of them, so it'll be nice to see them back.
Yeah, be a whole lot nicer if it was alongside a couple other characters who would be technically making their debut as writers in the series. But that's just me. Anyway, let's move right along to. Oh fuck! I put the wrong link here.
Yeah, I clicked on it. I was like, yeah, God.
I'll have to track this down later, but we all know. Fucking, there's a Fathom Events specific trailer for Shin Kamen Rider out now that is literally just like tons of quick images, shots from the movie, and then one little bit of dialogue that's not even subbed at the end, so we don't even get an idea what the subtitles are going to be like.
Yeah, that's kind of concerning, not gonna lie.
Hopefully they're okay. I don't know. I'm not super concerned about it. I just hope it's a good time at the movies at this point. And you know what else would be nice?
What?
If Team Rider weren't fucking shitheads, because Team Rider put up a tweet this week saying like, "Hey, did you see that spoiler figure art for?" We're not going to say what it is. For that spoiler figure art for Shin Kamen Rider that got announced a few weeks back. Well, we'll be doing a U.S. import of that. So if you really want to get that, you can get it through us, and you don't have to pay for a middleman. Which that's real nice. Thank you, Team Rider. I really appreciate it. But also like, could you not spoil the fucking movie? Could you maybe tell people where and when they could go see the fucking movie? Could you maybe do something besides just hawk Bandai's plastic crap, you worthless fucks?
What pisses me off, I don't mind them showing the toys, but they didn't even tell me where I could watch. Like, this isn't like Geats where there's no official release right now. There's actually like a thing for the Shin Kamen Rider Coming, the Fathom event. And they don't even be like, a tweet below saying you can buy it here or some shit like that.
I have seen more fans doing promotion for this Fathom event than I have any freaking official account. Like Fathom Events has done 2 tweets themselves. Oh, you fixed it for me. Thank you. Because I just found the tweet myself. But Fathom Events has done 2 tweets about this. Nothing from Team Rider. Nothing from Bandai. Nothing from Toei. What the fuck? And like that doesn't even begin to cover the fact that this week, with the tickets officially going on sale, we found out that there's only showings in America. This is not a Western release. This is an American release, because there's not going to be showings in Canada. There's not going to be showings in Mexico. There's not going to be showings in England and the greater United Kingdom. It is just like, hey, Americans, we hear you like Kamen Rider. Fucking prove it. Leave work early on a Wednesday to go see this movie.
This is just really frustrating. Like, this is kind of reminding me of like why I refused to buy the 01 comic. It's like, I want Kamen Rider to succeed all over the world, but you can't just keep giving me these half-assed ways. I want to see Shin Kamen Rider, because Shin Kamen Rider looks interesting and good, but like, stuff like the comic for 01, I'm not buying that. That looks shit.
That comic is legitimately dog shit. Nobody should be buying that and reading that. But also, like, that's one of the like few table scraps we've gotten in the West over the last couple of years as Rider fans. And this is a fucking topic we harp on all the time on this show, but it still painfully and obliquely bears repeating. After years of fucking screaming and beating against the plexiglass wall that is Toei's office, we are just getting these minor little things with almost no promotion outside of the fans telling other fans, hey, here's how you can check it out. Like, I know Toei is probably making plenty of money off of their various anime projects and off of licensing Sentai to Hasbro, but like, you could be making so much more if you just put in the slightest bit of effort to promote Kamen Rider over here and release it officially.
Actually, like this, I can extend my rant to the next thing we're doing. The Deca Ranger DVD is now you can pre-order it anywhere because it used to be Shot exclusive. We haven't had a new like license for Kamen Rider or Sentai in a bit. Kamen Rider has been 2 years since they licensed Ryuki and 01. Sentai, I mean, I could probably wait more for Sentai because we just got the Deca Ranger DVD and that was.
I mean, we got the Kuga DVD, but that was still last year.
Yeah, I'm talking about like streaming and licensing. There hasn't been like anything. I know we're approaching the summer, so news of these stuff should be popping up. But also, I'm just like, it's really frustrating silence. Like
Media Blasters, Tokusatsu, fucking what are the other guys? Discotech.
Yeah.
Please, something, anything.
Well, Discotech is like they said, we're just in general, we're taking a little break.
RX is coming out soon, isn't it?
Yeah. We still have RX on the horizon. We still have a thing to be like, all right, we know that's coming. We don't like Shout Factory.
But after that, we don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, like Shout Factory's just kind of been like releasing a bunch of Ultraman to streaming, which is like good. You can watch Nexus now. Nexus is like my favorite Ultraman, so it's like, yeah, go watch that. But like, I don't know.
This is a rough time. These are dark times.
Yeah, and it's like I wouldn't even be mad if they just because they're clearly trying, but they're just trying in shitty ways, you know.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of dark times, we kind of skipped over it, but hey, there's deleted scenes for Shin Kamen Rider that have been posted online. You can go watch them if you want to. I actually bookmarked these links, and I'm gonna wait until I've actually seen the movie to check these out.
Okay, I watched one of them. All I'll say is I'm glad we read the manga. That's all I'm saying.
Oh boy. Alright, let's get back to Sentai news, and let's talk about some more, like, positive shit, because we got our annual dose of behind-the-scenes shots from King-Ohger, and this time it's from the first episode of The Secrets of King Regulos. Wow, they've just gone full George Lucas with this show. There's so much green screen in that office set. Yeah,
it's like that's just kind of King-Ohger in general. It's like it's using a lot of volume and the green screen, which I know some people hate, but I'm like, it works for this because it's the imagination of making a new world. Like it's like you're doing something like you're creating a King-Ohger is specifically a fantasy world. You're doing this to create a fantasy world, you know?
Yeah, and it rarely looks really bad in the final product, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to get mad about it. And the story is good. The story is the most important thing. Even if you have the most jank visuals in the world, if your story is solid enough to keep me invested, that's not going to matter.
Yeah, like Zenkaiger, like towards the end, like with the CGI final mech, it kind of got like really jank, but I was still super invested because I love those characters, you know?
hmm And speaking of characters we love, hey, they announced more Sentai restaurant menu items for Dawn Brothers versus Zenkaiger.
Are any of
Don't
our viewers like live in Japan that can even go to the Sentai Cafe?
I have no idea. Sound off in the comments if you're a native Japanese listener who wants to know what white people think of Tokusatsu for some reason.
Yeah.
Um, Also, there was a demo posted of the Dawn Zenkai blade. It's actually pretty neat. I like the rainbow effect to the lights. It
Yeah.
was really well done in my opinion.
I just like the colors more than the regular Zanglass blade, so yeah.
But we also have a fair bit of Power Rangers news.
Oh.
And first and foremost, hey, there's an MMPR pin set of the Rangers in kind of like a cell shaded style, doing their fucking fist on the hip Superman pose that they did in like a couple of bits of promotional photography. It's fucking pick them up if you like them. Also, we have some more behind the scenes content from Once and Always, because just because the special's out doesn't mean they're out of stuff to post on their Instagram. Charlie Kesh actually posted a behind the scenes montage of apparently her going into the makeup chair and getting made up to do a couple of scenes that didn't make it into the final cut of the show, where she stood in for Tui Trang. Very interesting.
I kind of glad they cut it though. If like I'm glad like most of the cuts of the special seem to be out of respect, so that's good.
It is incredible how close they got her to actually looking like Tui Trang now. But from Catherine Sutherland, we have a little video tour of the prop house during the time of Once and Always, and there was one rather large prop that people were like, hey, this hasn't been in anything. What the heck is this? And it's a very large kind of metal looking angular structure that could be the housing for a throne, perhaps Lord Zed's throne remade for Cosmic Fury.
Because there's so many Z's on it. I mean, who else would have that throne? I don't know.
Yeah, it's either that or it's like it's for something entirely separate that this prop house also happened to be working on. But like, it has all the hallmarks of modern Power Rangers design, so it's probably Lord Zed's new throne.
And also the Z's. Again, the Z's. Like that's the big tip off.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the Z's could tip it off, but it's also like the techie greeblies it has on it. That's like, oh yeah, I recognize that from a lot of new stuff they've made for Power Rangers over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And hey, Lord Zed will sit down once again. Aren't you excited?
Hooray! I don't think he actually sat in Dino Fury.
Yeah. No. It's good. They're letting Lord Zed take a load off. He's gonna put his feet up. He's gonna get a nice little couch sesh in the middle of Cosmic Fury.
Yeah.
You can quote me on that. Now this next bit is a bit of rumor and hearsay, but it does seem to come from a reliable source because everyone I trust is corroborating it. Dr. Zio, somebody I've never heard of before today. Or before I found this story a couple days ago, identified the African American woman from the table read photo that we got several months ago. That's sitting between Russell Curry and oh god, what's his name? Ion's actor.
Let me look him up.
Yeah, evidently, the actress Dr. Zio thinks it is Jennifer Onoweu. I'm going to say is how you pronounce that. I apologize if I'm wrong. Apparently, she was in New Zealand at about the right time filming something. So it's highly likely that's who the character is. Now, we have no idea, or who the character is being played by, rather. We have no idea who the character is. We don't know if it's a one-off character, if it's like a side character throughout the series, if it's an actually additional ranger. But hey, we found a person.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say much about Cosmic Fury until we get more stuff. So
Yeah, we need a trailer for this show soon.
yeah, maybe not soon, but like around Power Rangers Day.
Soonish.
Yeah.
But that's all the news that's fit to print. Buster, why don't you take us off to the new releases?
We got an indie Toku, guys, and the one that's kind of weird, and I don't mean weird and like how funny it is. Pink Tokusatsu creation, Jiras Episode 1, Run Through the Forest. So this is Masahiro Inoue's Pink Tokusatsu he's been talking about.
Yeah.
And normally I'm all for indie stuff, but this ain't it, Chief. This ain't it.
I don't use this term lightly, but I got neoprene vibes from this.
It kind of does look like a budget. I mean, like, granted, it's for YouTube, so it's like, you know, it's not gonna
Like
look the best.
it is shot out in a forest. It is just a character who we have no real introduction to, running to various locations that they probably didn't have to pay very much, if at all, to film on, with a lot of stock sound effects accompanying her, and then Masahiro Inoue showing up as a mysterious man in a pink jacket saying vaguely philosophical bullshit, and then another guy in a leather jacket behind him being vaguely threatening.
Which is Ren from Ryuki, actually. So
that's Knight's actor?
Yeah!
Whoa, he looks really different than he did in that Revice movie.
Yeah, well, he barely showed up in that Revice. Like, acting-wise, he did show up like, quite a bit.
Which reminds me, that's the other thing that like gave me Neil Breen vibes about this. Like, I don't want to weight shame or anything like that, but like Masahiro Inoue has clearly put on a couple pounds since the last time he filmed something, and like it gave me that like, oh, actor who's past his prime is doing an ego project to make himself feel better kind of vibe.
I mean, that's kind of what this. Like, I don't like. Inoue doing his shtick is fine, but it's just like this. Just reads like a terrible like Garo fan series.
Garo or Decade, it has vibes of both those characters from his past. Like, it really feels like he's just mixing the two together in order to make something not quite as good as either.
Well, it's like, I take Garo because of the suit design, which we don't even see them transform in this episode, only in the opening.
Yeah.
And getting a closer look.
And the opening looks better than this whole fucking episode.
Yeah, I was like, wait, where was all this during the episode? The episode just kind of wasted my time.
This looks like a show I'd watch.
Yeah. Like, I don't know why it's an actor past his prime project. It has some crypto bullshit in the background. It's like the suits are kind of over designed, in my opinion. I don't like. Looking at them closer, I'm like, I don't like how this looks. Like, they
look like if SIC did Akiba Ranger figures.
I'd say SIC did like X-Aid. I don't know. Yeah.
Did SIC never do X-Aid? I could have sworn they did.
I think SIC stopped like around the time that X-Aid happened. I could be wrong. Like, they never did X-Aid, to my knowledge. I know they did Ghost, but like,
I know SIC isn't a thing anymore. So let me just Google this. Let me fact check real quick.
Yeah, but like, I wanted to like this, but everything around it, plus just the actual episode basically just being a whole bunch of nothing, is and we're like, I'll still try to cover it if they keep like uploading on YouTube with English subs, which that's nice. But like, also, it's like, I need more than that. I can't just trust you just because you're Masahiro Inoue. I need like actual characterization for these. Like, the opening tells me way more about these characters than this entire episode. Yeah. What the hell's going on?
Also, SIC teased a Genom SIC, but it never released. Like, there's a magazine scan of a prototype.
Yeah. Oh, I apparently I didn't know they were gonna do a Genom thing. Oh, the internet would have gone. The Kamen Rider fans would have gone crazy over that. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and it was pretty good for an SIC, I gotta admit. But yeah, this is not pretty good. This is really weird and out there and boring and kind of bad.
Yeah.
I'll give it one more episode, but if it's just more lady runs in the forest while Masahiro Inoue spouts vague bullshit, I'm out.
Yeah, this just felt like a waste of time, not gonna lie.
Motherfuckers need to transform already. Yeah,
like, I don't even... I get they're trying to do that old school, like, you don't get the transformation until the second episode kind of structure, but also, like, the characters are just kind of, like, there. They just, like, they're basic archetypes with no spice. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not great. But anyway,
Let's talk about something that is great.
Yeah, Juuga versus Ultica Part 2.
This was so much better than the first part.
Well, that's because it's like again, it's like this should have been one whole thing, because the first part's the build up, and this is like everything going like wrong. But wrong.
This is also like twice as long as the first part.
Oh yeah, it is a pretty chunky part. And I enjoy George. I enjoy Ortica, and it's just nice to see them doing their shticks and having fun. You know.
I also just feel like this part balanced the silly and the serious a lot better than the first one did. It felt very rushed and like we were constantly switching back and forth in the first one, whereas this is much more like, no, you have your silly scenes and you have your serious scenes, and they all flow into each other pretty nicely, and it leaves you on some fairly fun and upbeat notes. Like, yeah, freaking Ortica escaping again, and the whole cast just chasing after him Saturday morning cartoon style. That was delightful. Yeah, and then like you see like George kind of having like a little moment of reflection like during it. Oh, that's cute. Doing his vlog. Yeah, the Hiromi will hopefully see. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Also, they pulled a fast one on us. It wasn't the lady from the mystery that Gen was texting. It was Hiromi, because Hiromi's a little baby man and he needs help with everything apparently. Yeah. Well, speaking of Revice cast, we got to see Algi, Hana, and Tamaki here again, and their scenes were so good. Yeah, that's like those are their characters. Those are like how their characters should be at the end of this series. You know. That was that Tamaki scene. That was the scene I was waiting the whole fucking show for with him, where he's finally a real boy, and he just stands up to Ortica and is like, nobody's gonna fall for your bullshit anymore, dude. Just give up. That was so satisfying to see. Yeah, and it really just, man, like, we've been championing Tamaki every time we talk about Revice. And it just was nice that, like, we finally got that moment. It feels like the end of an era, you know? Yeah, it's, oh man. We may never get our Kamen Rider Over Demons special, but this was good enough that, like, if we never see Tamaki again, I'll be happy. Yeah, we might not see any of this is like the last scheduled Revice post-series content we have, so it's like, this might be the last time we see these characters. Maybe one or two of them will come back for a Senki or a Taisen someday, but for now, this is kind of the final farewell to Revice, and I like how it focused on all the stuff we liked about Revice. Like, there was some pathos for George, there was pathos for Tamaki and Hannah, and there was a lot of like fun, silly bullshit, and also fucking callbacks to Drive. Yeah, like people were complaining when we got some screenshots of this that like Ortica is using just Mock's weapon, but no, there was an actual reason for it. Yeah. Though it is amazing that suit is, we thought it was just an Over Demons repaint. No, it's the Over Demons helmet with I forget which rider it is specifically, but it's a Kabuto era chest piece and the shoulder pad from the Ortica monster suit. Wow, that's actually, I thought it was like Demon Troopers, because those were a thing for like 2 episodes. Oh yeah, those guys. Yeah. It's a pretty, like, honestly, it doesn't look as good as I thought it did, but it's like, yeah, it works. That works. It's fine. It's there for one scene. Yeah. And yeah, I'm generally just, it's a nice note to leave these characters on, and George is a funny guy. What can I say? It's a good time. Yeah. Let's keep the good times rolling over in superhero time. Kamen Rider Geats, episode 34, the one that got leaked a week ago. Yearning 2, Geats paints his target. This episode ruled. Oh yeah, it was good. Because this episode is just a lot of, like, characters exchanging motivations and like doing subtle manipulations to each other, and the cinematography in this episode was fucking amazing. There are so many like incredibly well framed shots that, like, more so than the dialogue, communicate the relationships of the characters that you're supposed to get in that moment to me. I was so impressed with this that, like, for the first time in almost a year, I was like, who fucking directed this episode? I need to look this up. Oh, one of the guys who directed all the best episodes of Wizard.
Yeah, it's good shit.
It wasn't Sabakashi, I think his name is. I haven't talked about him in a while, so I forgot how to pronounce his name. But it was the other guy who's directed like all the really good episodes of Wizard.
You tweeted about it, so
Yeah, it was Shojiro Nakazawa.
yeah.
Directed this week's episode, and he did a bang up job. The action wasn't super interesting, but there was like 1 2 minute action scene, so it's not his fault.
Yeah, and I do like all the framing, especially like oddly the shots that stick out to my mind are like the shots with like Kikera the frog and Baboa just standing in that just the amount of like just tension and that when they're watching the fight happening in like
Yeah,
Keiwa's
because
room.
we find out this episode that Kekira is a secret asshole.
Yeah, he kind of like he likes Keiwa, but only like he wants to screw him over so he can do more cool shit, you know?
This whole time he's been going like, no, you're a good boy. You need to fight for justice. I love it when good boys fight for justice. And he's like, and this episode he goes full, oh, but a hero can't be cool unless they have a tragic backstory.
Yeah,
So
and
I'm gonna manipulate your sister into getting killed.
which is kind of concerning, but like I kind of hope they subvert that, saying I don't need tragedy to want to be a good person, but that's just like me, you know?
And I mean, it gave us our most badass K1 moment in the show so far.
Yeah, like that henshin sequence, like just like I love like just like moving action henshin sequence like Sakamoto-esque. So yeah,
Also, it made Sarah feel the most like a well-rounded character I think she ever has. Because
she hasn't really had a focus since Ninja's debut.
and like her focus usually just amounts to like, oh, little brother, you're a silly boy. You'll get your shit together eventually. Also, I love this YouTuber, and in here you get to see her because she becomes a Kamen Rider, and like, oh, I agree with the criticism that like, yeah, it sucks. There's no just people side characters in the show anymore. Everybody's become a Kamen Rider at this point. But I like that they use that to give her a moment to shine as like, no, I'm his big brother, and he's been putting his life on the line to try and help people all this time. I need to take that weight off his shoulder as the responsible older sibling. I kind of like seeing that in Kamen Rider. It's really cool to see that handled well for the first time ever.
Yeah. So Geats is just like I think this like the last arc was just a lot. I mean, there were some good episodes of the last arc, but just it wasn't up to my taste. This is more like you got more character stuff. We're finally like getting to some climax of the themes. You know, like everything is starting to connect.
There's a moment where like our main free triad at the end of this episode full on go like, oh, there's no way we can work together anymore. We're fully ideologically opposed now, and that kind of sucks, but here we go.
Yeah, it makes me very excited for what we're going to see in the future. Although next episode just kind of look. I mean, it's a preview, but next episode just kind of looks like, oh, Nudge Sparrow's back, I guess.
Yeah,
I like Nudge Sparrow.
Next episode
like,
is going to be Let's Kill Nudge Sparrow.
Yeah.
Because he comes back in this, but he comes back and he just does some fuckboy shit. And it's like, oh, we'll deal with you next week, fuckboy.
Yeah, although I kind of like feel like after the ending of last week's episode, I feel like we should have gone like a back to basics of like just the battle royale rather than just like, oh, Nudge Sparrow time. I don't know. That's just me though. Again, well, we haven't seen the episode yet, but yeah.
It is kind of a little weak that they reset the game premise a little bit, but I like the new twist on it, and like. For as silly as it is that it's the third guy they've done this with, having a new mysterious game master man is kind of fun.
Yeah, I think that's a new character, from my understanding. So
I don't think he's gonna pull off the mask and go, "It was me, Ace. It was me all along. Niram was the new game master all along. You all bought it."
Yeah, I mean, Niram is scheduled to come back next week, but yeah.
No, I think he's just gonna get revived, and the new game master is gonna be like, "Bitch, fix this."
Yeah. Speaking of fixing things, final thoughts on this episode?
It's pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, same. Osama Sentai King-Ohger time with episode 10, The Legendary Guardian Spirit. Now this is some gas.
This was Superior Sentai.
Yeah, this is one of those weeks where I'm like, yeah, Superior Sentai, baby.
All of them just putting aside their petty differences to say, fuck you, Recules. We can beat this guy ourselves with the power of our Kokoros and our friendship and our big giant bug robots.
Yeah, I especially love the scene towards the end where they all like unite as the Osama Sentai, not like King-Ohger, because they just they're like, we're the Osama Sentai, and we summoned King-Ohger. That was
Hmm.
hype, and also like this is like a musical thing I noticed. There's been a song playing in the background, like an instrumental, like during all the big mecha fights in King-Ohger, and this week they gave it lyrics. That's so
Yeah.
cool. Like. And that's like, oh, we've heard this as instrumental. Now let's hear the full version with actual vocals. That's so cool.
And it feels earned in both that way and in like getting Legend King-Ohger for the first time, which for as down as I am on Legend King-Ohger as a design, I do really like the storytelling reason for it of like, okay, the Gira could always form King-Ohger, and that's what made him interesting to the others. But now that he's united them, they get this extra little oomph that makes them like fully formed as a team.
Yeah, and I love it teleporting all over the nation. That's really cool.
Hmm.
Like a little like it's a good because this is basically wrapping up the first arc of King-Ohger. So this is like a bit of like here's the world tour of all the places we visited.
Hmm. Though, like it's hilarious how quick they're able to travel across the entire planet in the show.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you do what you gotta do for storytelling.
Hmm.
And also they got flying bug robots. It's not unrealistic for them to be like we could go there in like 5 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
And then like there's just all these great character moments. We actually like I didn't expect this, but we followed up on like the last episode of the retainers.
Hmm.
Like that, like we just get each character gets a character moment with their retainers. Even Gira with their like at the beginning of the episode we see a flashback, and they're all so good scenes of just like we are gonna stand up to our kings, be like you gotta do this. We know you can, so go do it. And that's like good shit, you know?
Yeah, because story wise, the reason for the retainers to be there is to be an avatar for the nations that these characters represent, not just oh this character is from this nation and that's why they act this way. It's like no, you have an eye in. These people are still of an elevated stature within that kingdom, but they're closer to the average citizen than the King-Ohgers are, and so you get kind of an idea and a more emotional connection to the average Joe than you would if this was just a show about five monarchs.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like this is like the perfect time because Sentai hasn't had like major. I know Sentai's probably the best about having side characters out of all the big three Toku and
Hmm.
Ultraman. But like Ultraman's like it's just only one Ultraman. But like compared to Kamen Rider, Sentai has a better track record with like the side character is just a character, not a Kamen Rider or Sentai.
Yeah,
You know.
because thanks to John Toei's constant quest for cash, Kamen Rider has excised, and we were just talking about this with Geats. Kamen Rider has, throughout the years, just more and more excised all the average citizens from its cast to the point now where in Geats, everybody's a rider on some level.
Yeah. And or just like some higher stature. I think Sarubi's the only one who isn't a rider, but I'm pretty sure she'll become a rider any minute now. But
She'll either become a rider or she'll get crazy goddess powers.
exactly. So just nice to like in that kind, and also like other superhero kind of things. Like people complain like, oh, there isn't as much focus on the average citizen. I don't know how true that is. Maybe I've just been reading good comics.
Hmm.
Yeah. But overall, like this is just a really good showcase of why you need the average Joe in a hero story. You know?
Yeah. Also, uh, Toei, don't think I don't see your ass. I see what you're doing. I see how you carefully plan this. The episode where the team finally comes together and unites fully happens to air the same day that the coronation happens in England.
I think that was completely unintentional, but that is a funny coincidence.
I think that was totally intentional. I'm still one of the people who believes in the crack. Which I fully acknowledge it's a crackpot theory, but I really think this whole show was like, oh, there's going to be a new monarch in England. Let's capitalize on that.
I'm pretty sure this was an idea they had like floating around because that's from my understanding the way Sentais are produced is like they have ideas floating around and then they put like a year of pre-production because remember the CGI sets for the show took 6 months
Yeah,
before filming.
and I mean that may have been the case, but like the decision to go with this idea may have also been informed by real world events.
Yeah, I mean, like, hey, Toei does that often, so.
Hmm.
But overall, this was a great episode. Some cool action. I know people complain. Like I've talked about King-Ohger's action before, and this is like I think probably the best it's been because you don't just get those grand shots of slow mo, kind of like they're supposed to be like big grand shots. You get like actual choreography here.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, I'm not saying that I like the former kind of shots King-Ohger's been doing because it's like it's like a manga panel and like, but like that's just me. I know not everyone is down for that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, yeah, good week for Toku, I'd say, except for Jiris, but screw it.
Yeah, and like again, Jiris isn't the worst thing I've ever seen. It's not Girl Gun Lady,
Yeah,
but it's rough, and it's gonna have to really improve in its second episode in order to keep me interested.
Oh yeah, and also I think this is like the first time I've mentioned Girl Gun Lady ever since the year we talked about it, because it's been like a whole 2 years since we talked about that show.
Well, that shit still haunts the corners of my mind. So.
We were actually 3 episodes away from finishing it.
Mm-hmm. That's how bad that show was. That we couldn't even go sunk cost fallacy. We'll finish it.
Yeah, just.
I still see sometimes when I'm browsing around on Big Bad Toy Store, I still see the model kits for those guns. Those did not move at all.
Yeah, like I know, like I think I saw a Twitter sales thread of like, here I'm selling the Girl Gun Lady things, and I'm like, oh okay.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Anyway, to talk about the old stuff and toys, or actually, my very first thing isn't really an old thing. It kind of just came out, but it's a thing, fan content, for lack of a better word. And I kind of want to mention it because I like supporting like Toku fan content because we barely get any of it these days, and I want to like encourage people to go seek it out. You know. So a user by the name of Bug Transport on itch.io, and also I had the Twitter link. Let me go find it. But yeah, they did a Dawn Brothers. They call it an alternate take on the finale. Now it's like it's the same events happen, but this is more from the perspective of Sonoi. So it's called Over Easy, a Dawn Brothers fan comic, and this is basically like, what if instead of Taro visiting Haruka at the end, he visits Sonoi? Because, you know, they had that whole thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, it's a very nice... It leads a lot to the melodrama, but it's really good. Everyone feels in character. We actually get, like, a nice, good scenes of Sonozora, like, basically in here. Like kind of, like, going Zoom calls of Haruka. That's great. Because, you know, that's what they were doing at the end. And it's a nice, sweet comic, and you can read it on both Twitter and itch.io. I really recommend it. It's very pretty art. The final pages got to me, not gonna lie. They were very pretty. So yeah, check it out. I don't really got much to say other than it exists. It's really good. Go check it out.
Nice. Should I talk about a thing now?
Yeah, okay. You talk about a thing. My voice is a bit tired.
Hey everybody, I finished Mega Ranger this week, and it was pretty good. Mostly just like really interesting because obviously considering how much original footage they had to do in order to try and make that a proper finale to Power Rangers as a franchise, it's completely different than the end of In Space.
Yeah.
It is much more a standard Sentai finale, but there's also like some really interesting pathos that's unique to that show, and it's very much about like high school ending and how that can feel for Japanese children, because you got to remember, in Japanese culture, high school is much more like how we see college. So it's meant to be like the best years of your life, and it's really sad when it ends, and it's hard to let go. And there's a lot of that in here, and they also do a really interesting take on the identities getting superhero identity getting exposed and people reacting negatively to it trope. There's the last couple episodes are literally like the bad guys learn who the Mega Rangers are. They come and attack them at high school, and so their class learns who they are, and one of their classmates gets injured, and everybody instantly turns against them, and they're like, "You're putting us in danger. Get the fuck out of here." And like the principal even bans them from the school, and because the bad guys also learned who they were, can find out anything about them through public records, they start targeting their families. So their families have to be evacuated to the moon base. And because the Mega Rangers need to stay on Earth to be able to fight the bad guys if they show up again, they have to live in like this dinky little shack. And it's really sad and depressing for like an episode and a half until the final battle begins. And eventually through doing the final battle, their classmates come to get back on their side, and they're able to graduate properly, and it's really really nice and emotional. And really really good. I thought it was a solid ending to Mega Ranger. Mega Ranger wasn't like the best show ever. I don't think it's going to crack my favorite Sentai list anytime soon, but it had its moments, and I feel like it got really strong around the time the Neji Rangers debuted. Like from that point onward, the show was pretty consistently good. And also just like fun factoid, you know that like monster general from the first couple episodes of Lost Galaxy who's got like a lemon head?
Oh yeah, like wasn't like that a Mega Ranger monster they just didn't use
He's
for
the
in
final
space?
monster of the week in Mega Ranger.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I saw that and I was like, what the fuck are you doing here, dude?
that's so weird because like to me that monster is kind of like kind of ugly, so it's like it's not
Oh
like
yeah,
cool
it's
looking.
it's a terrible design, but also like I sort of hold it in esteem because he was kind of implied to be a general in Lost Galaxy.
Yeah, I just thought it looked terrible. It's just okay. Start first, the worst, you know. Like
He shows up for one scene as like a final fuck you from the big bad to the Mega Rangers before he's able to turn into a monster mash, and he gets mooked in one scene. It's almost hilarious.
Lamau. Yeah, but I'm glad you enjoyed Mega Ranger. I know it's a fan favorite Sentai. Oh,
Yeah.
so yeah. I guess I'll talk about the other two movies because I didn't watch the full show this week, but I did watch a couple movies. First off, continuing from last week, the Ultraman Taiga movie, New Generation Climax. This was super good. Yeah, it's basically just Ultraman Megamex, but like even better, I think.
You mean Mega Max?
Mega Max, yeah. Or like it's like one of the best crossover movies I've seen from Ultra. If like every character gets a moment to just be themselves or just get something cool to do, like we get Jeed, Riku giving a cool speech to Taiga. We have the Orb and X doing their shtick. You got like Ginga and Ginga S still fighting because that's apparently all they know what to do. Thanks Sakamoto. Jokes at the time. They were still cool in this movie. And then we get to see everyone transform and like rise up and like say their catchphrase. It's so fun. And then Taiga, this is like a great ending for Taiga. It is like such. It's like basically the end of Tragear, properly before all the time travel BS and absolute conspiracy. And like he gets a really and Taro basically turns evil, and Taiga has to like deal with that, and it's like. Well, it's a kind of like it's a full circle moment because Taiga was possessed by some darkness earlier, like that's part of the arc that led up to Taiga's final form. But like, so it's like, oh, we're going like full circle of this, and yeah, we basically it's just a great finale to Taiga. It's everything you could have want from like a Taiga movie, a crossover movie, in like Ultraman. And we get Ultraman Raiga is like neat. I think it's handled better in the freaking Destined Crossroad, where it's like they just like not like the form transformation, but like I'm talking fighting style because he barely kind of fights. He just kind of throws a punch in this movie. But like Sakamoto really like enhanced his fighting style. Just like it's 10 Ultraman in one, so it's this big lumping pile of power in the Destined Crossroad. So yeah, that's probably one of my favorite changes Sakamoto did in those Ultra Galaxy Fight specials. But yeah, this is still really cool. And
Nice.
yeah.
Hopefully I get to see that movie someday after I watch all those shows.
Yeah, like it was really because I've been watching all the new gen shows, so it was a new gen climax. So yeah.
Yeah. I always enjoy like even if the plot is not the best, I always enjoy seeing a movie that features a bunch of writers from various shows or a bunch of Sentai characters from various shows all teaming up and transforming at the same time at some point. So I look forward to one day being able to see that in the Ultra series.
Yeah, and I'm like, the plot is like probably the best crossover plot because it all connects to things. Because at the beginning of Taiga, like all the previous ultras that showed up in this movie, or all the guest ultras that show up in this movie, gave Taiga and the Tri Squad powers, like basically new finishing moves based on their stuff. Because you still got to sell them legend gimmicks. So that's basically how they come into contact with Taiga, saying, "Hey, we gave you that. Can you give us our powers back?" That's like a cool little way to connect the series and the movie. Excuse me. But yeah, I don't know. It's a fun ass movie. Like, go watch it. It's actually like available on Ultraman Connection. Not the full Taiga show though. That's so weird. Like, I don't know. It's weird. They subbed the movie, but not the show. Very strange. Speaking of movies, I decided I'm gonna bite the bullet. I watched the first Build V Cinema.
Oh no.
Okay, I didn't hate it, but it wasn't the best thing ever. And at first, I was really into it, honest, because the Killabis is so fun, man. He initially takes the form of Sento, because that's the first person he sees, but then he turns on the TV and sees this, like, flamenco dancer, and he's like, I want to look like him. He's cool. And that's his form throughout the movie, besides his Kamen Rider form. And he, even before he gets his proper form, he just uses Build's toys, which is super funny. And then, like, Cross and Evil's relationship, because they're this kind of a buddy movie of them, is pretty compelling. Like, of how, like, oh, Evil's, like, the sins of his past that, like, Cross must, like, overcome. But the movie kind of falls apart once it gives everyone its memories back, and it tries to do a romance plot with, like, Banjo and this girl who, like, and I like the idea that this girl already knew what the Kamen Riders were, like, before, even after the universe got reset, and, like, you know, she still has, like, a bit of, like feelings about that, and that the Banjo helps her go through that. But I don't like the romance angle, and not just because I'm a Sento Banjo shipper. I know that's won't be canon, so who cares? But, like, I just felt like the romance was super forced in this movie, and it should have just been like Banjo just helps this woman, you know? I don't know why.
I would help a woman.
Of course you would.
Help women. Be allies.
Yeah. I'm poking. But yeah, I honestly, the suit itself, the Cross C V Cinema form, one of the best suits in all of Kamen Rider, honestly. I love that suit so much. But the way, I don't know, and I like the transformation that's like both Cross C and Evil's powers combined. So, you know, those are two of my favorite suits, so of course I would like this suit. But I don't know, just, and the fight was cool, but, like, the second half really kind of bogged it down of this movie. I don't know. It was a fine movie. It just wasn't as good as all the other Build movies. Build has some really good movies. We'll see. All I have to do is watch the Grease V Cinema, and then I'll be Build semi-complete, so.
I can't wait to hear all about John Travolta's Kamen Rider debut.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. I mean, he already appeared in the main show, so. Yeah, I guess that's all I had to talk about. So talk about your last toy before we end it all.
Yeah, I didn't just get rid of a bunch of toys this week. I did also buy something Toku related. It was before the accident. I have stuff that I bought before the car accident that I still need to open. So it's weird. Like, I keep posting in my toy collecting thread for the year, like, hey, I opened this thing today, here's what I think about it. And then I'm like, should I quote retweet this and just remind people, like, hey, I didn't spend money I shouldn't be spending right after getting in a car accident. I'm not a complete idiot.
Yeah.
But it's fine. Like I said, my aunt and uncle are giving me my grandpa's car for free. So if anything, I'm actually going to come out of this whole situation with positive money once I get the insurance settlement. So I'll probably just funnel that right back onto my credit card or something like that. But for now, let's talk about this thing I found at Ollie's Bargain Outlet on the Monday last. I found Retro Morphin Ninja from the Hasbro Retro line that was, I believe it was Walmart exclusive. And this is the head flipper Ninja that they put out, and this is my first experience with one of these figures, one of these more like basic nostalgia figures, and my first experience actually messing with a head flipper. I've seen head flippers in person before, but I've never like actually picked up one and messed with the gimmick before. I can see why people are so nostalgic for this gimmick. This is actually kind of fun. It's a good fidget toy.
I have the both Ninja and the Jocon. The red repaint one. And
I think you're thinking of the VHS collection ones.
Yeah, probably.
This came on like a retro style card back.
This was probably a Super 7.
No, it was Hasbro, but okay. It's not even 5 POA. He has a ratcheted swivel at the shoulder and a regular swivel at the wrist and ankles, and that's all the articulation he has. Everything else in him is purely engineered for him to be able to do the head flipping gimmick, to go to his angry mode, I think it was called in Power Rangers, And like also to complete that mode, his pants can fall down and his shoulder pads can flip up. And
Yeah, mine does that too.
oh, I wonder if the VHS one was just a straight real release of this then.
Well, like they only did a VHS one for Ninjagon, which is basically just a re-release of that.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no, I really dig this figure. It's a fun little fidget toy, fun little desk guy, and I've always appreciated Ninjor's design. I feel like it's one of the most charmingly simplistic ones in early Power Rangers. And I do still want him to get a Lightning collection someday, but as just like a fun fidget toy representation of Ninjor in my collection, this is good enough for now. And like I got it on a discount at an Overstock store that's native to my region. So I got it for like $5 less than it originally retailed for. So perfectly happy with that. But I think that's it. I think that's everything for this week in Toku. So, Buster, why don't you tell the fine people where they can find you out there on the internet?
Well, hi, I'm Buster Corp. I do videos on the internet. I recently did a Tokusatsu video on Dog Engers, the second season. I also have a video of the first season up. And we also got a bunch of Ultraman, Kamen Rider, and other stuff videos. I also do a rewatch podcast on OKKO if you're interested in that. And yeah, also on Twitter at BusterBlade3 if you want to see my descent into madness, because I just kind of snapped one day. And yeah.
You went bazongers.
Yeah, I went berserk, as the kids say.
Oh my god, you went full guts berserk.
Yeah.
And you can also go full guts berserk on my channel. Hi, I'm the Vacuuminator. I make YouTube videos, they're things. In spite of my trip, there will be a video out this week. So go subscribe to youtube.com/thevacuuminator, at the Vacuuminator, and watch that video when it comes out. Also watch all my old videos. Like, comment, subscribe, engage with the algorithm. Follow me on Twitter at the Vacuuminator. I'm on Tumblr at thevacuuminator.tumblr.com. I'm also on Instagram at _vacuuminator posting toy photography, and I'm on TikTok posting clips of my video at the Vacuuminator. But folks, that's it for this week in Toku. I'm fucking exhausted, so we'll see you back here next week for whatever happens that week in Tokusatsu.